Welcome back. This is Module 2, Lesson 2, and it's the one every new baker wants answered first. What can you sell, and what can't you? We're navigating cottage food regulations here, and by the end, you'll be able to look at just about anything you bake and know which side of the law it lands on. Let's get into it. When somebody decides to turn their baking into a business, the first thing out of their mouth is almost always the same. Can I sell this? It's the right question. People just expect the wrong kind of answer. They want a list, a tidy sheet of yes foods and no foods they can tape to the fridge. But that's not how cottage food law works. It's not a list, it's a line. And that's good news, because a list runs out the second somebody asks about a food that's not on it. A line never does. Once you can see the line, you can look at any product you make and know exactly which side it falls on, even the ones nobody ever thought to ask about. So let's draw it. Here's the line. It's the temperature rule. On one side, you've got shelf-stable food. It's forgiving, it's safe sitting at room temperature, and a loaf of bread is the perfect example. On the other side, you've got food that needs temperature control, food that needs refrigeration to keep bacteria from growing. Think of a bottle of milk. That one distinction, shelf-stable versus needs a fridge, is the engine under nearly every cottage food rule in the country. Your home kitchen doesn't have the controls a commercial kitchen has, so the law keeps you in the lane of foods that are hard to mess up. Now here's how you actually use that line. I call it the counter test. Ask yourself one question about any product. Could this sit on my counter for 3 days? If the answer's yes, it's still safe to eat, and it's probably sellable. If the answer's no, it'd spoil, then you assume no until your state tells you otherwise in writing. That's it. One question answers more for you than any list ever could. Let's start with the good news, because it's most of what you actually want to sell. This is the green light, the safe harbor, the lowest risk foods, the ones that are baked, dry, and stable. Whole loaves lead the way, your sourdough rounds, your baguettes, then rolls and bagels, focaccia, cookies and crackers, and dry mixes in a jar, which carry some of the best margins on the whole table. All of it's shelf-stable, and all of it's allowed in just about every state with a cottage food law. This is the heart of your business. Now here's where a lot of folks trip. The watch-outs. Look at these two. A sourdough loaf dries as it cools, but a loaf of banana bread stays damp in the middle for days. And that dampness is exactly what the law gets nervous about. So don't assume something's legal just because it's got bread right there in the name. Banana bread, zucchini bread, pumpkin bread, those dense, moist quick breads aren't automatic yeses. Some states restrict them. Check your state before you put them on the table. Let me show you the line in action with one example. Because if you remember one thing from this lesson, make it this. You bake a tray of cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls are bread. They're shelf-stable. They're 100% legal to sell at the market Saturday morning. You could load them up and never think twice. And then you reach for the cream cheese frosting. The moment that frosting goes on, you've changed the product. Cream cheese needs a fridge. So a cinnamon roll that was perfectly legal an hour ago is now something most states won't let you sell out of a home kitchen. Same roll, one ingredient. One cold ingredient just moved a legal product across the line into one you can't sell. But here's the part I love. You don't have to give up the product, you just have to adapt it. Swap that cream cheese frosting for a shelf-stable icing. Something built on brown butter and vanilla bean that sets firm and doesn't need a fridge. And you're right back on the safe side of the line. The roll stays on the table. It still tastes like a treat, and you're legal. You respect the line, you don't surrender to it. Now the red light. And pies make it click better than anything. Look at these two. A fruit pie with a baked, stable filling? That's allowed in most states. It's shelf-stable, it behaves itself. But a cream pie, custard, pastry cream, fresh dairy piled on top? That needs a fridge, so you assume no. Both are pies. One's fine and one isn't. And the only thing that decides it is whether it has to stay cold. That's the line doing its job. One more thing. Because the law isn't frozen in place, as of 2026, a growing number of states offer expanded, opt-in programs for some temperature-controlled foods. But hear me, that's the exception, not the rule. You don't get those foods by default. You get them by signing up for a specific program your state offers, and only if it offers one, and it comes with registration and extra oversight. If you've got your eye on something that lives on the cold side of the line, that's the path to check. Let me ground all of this in a real state, the one where I bake, South Carolina. Bread, cookies, and dry mixes? Clear and legal, no question. Cream-filled or custard? Off the table. Cottage food here is overseen by the Department of Agriculture, not DHEC, and definitely not a Facebook group. And here's the one that matters. South Carolina's had no revenue cap since 2018, so you can sell as much legal product as you can bake. No ceiling. We'll get into where you can sell all of it next lesson. So carry the line, not a list. 4 things to take with you. 1. Run the counter test first. 2. Watch out for dense, moist quick breads. 3. Remember, one cold ingredient can ruin a safe product. And 4. Your own state's official agency is always the final word, not me, not a forum. Get that right, and you'll build a table full of bread you can sell with total confidence. I'll see you in the next one, where we talk about where you're actually allowed to sell it.